Hi, I'm pro saxophonist Jamie Anderson, and you're watching Get Your Sax Together. Every week I sax up your Sunday with free online lessons covering technique stuff, tips on improvising, and my unique breakdowns of the world's most famous sax lines. I'm so excited because I've got a really special show for you this week. It's half lesson and half performance. The song is Pick Up the Pieces by the Average White Band. You're going to learn how to play it step by step. Then I'm going to perform the whole song with a star-studded lineup of awesome guest musicians. The Average White Band formed in London in the early 70s, but they all originally came from Scotland, Dundee in particular. Dundee is less than an hour from where I was brought up, so I like to dream there might be something in that Scottish water that gave me some kind of funk superpower like those guys. After moving to the US and playing pretty low-key gigs, the Average White Band were signed by a major label and never looked back. Recorded in 1974, a particularly good year, Pick Up the Pieces was originally the B-side of a track called Nothing You Can Do, but it proved so popular that it was then released as its own A-side. Despite the obviously contradictory band name, American radio stations assumed the Average White Band were a black soul outfit based on what they heard. And the music was so funky that even James Brown, the godfather of soul himself, made a special trip to check them out live. Pick Up the Pieces is driven by the Dundee-powered double sax frontline of Roger Ball and Molly Duncan, with Ball on lead alto and Molly taking the legendary tenor solo in the middle. On a later live recording at the Montreux Jazz Festival, tenor legend Michael Brecker famously guests on the solo. I've always loved this tune, and one of my most cherished gig moments of all time was playing this song with Hamish Stewart from the Average White Band when he guested with Incognito at the Jazz Cafe in London. I didn't know tenor player Molly Duncan that well, but we chatted on several occasions, and he even stood in for me on a few gigs. Tragically, Molly passed away last year in 2019, so this video is dedicated to him. It's been an absolute blast getting some of my talented buddies to guest on the backing track for this one, so make sure you stay tuned to the end to see what I'm talking about. Pick Up the Pieces is one of those tunes that everyone knows, but nobody knows. Harmonically speaking, it's actually very simple on sax. If you can play a C major scale on alto or an F major scale on tenor, then you already know all the notes you'll need. Here's the notes you'll need on each sax to play this tune. Even if you're a beginner on sax, Pick Up the Pieces is probably within reach for you with a bit of practice, especially on alto. However, it's the structure of this song that's the real devil. There's only 6 short phrases to learn, and even some of them are very similar, but you've got to spend some time getting familiar with how they're all put together to play this song. The easiest way to learn this tune is to go down into the description and click the link to get your free PDF for Pick Up the Pieces. I spent ages writing out the entire song from start to finish for alto and tenor sax, with all the phrases marked in and even all the harmonies as well. This isn't just a bite-sized chart, my friend. You could go out tonight and play the whole song perfectly from this chart, if you can sight read well enough. Anyway, coming right up, you'll learn those 6 phrases, then I'll show you how to put them all together. But just before we learn the riffs, if you're enjoying this channel, go and check out my free 1-hour Saxophone Success Masterclass, which is an awesome special extended lesson with me, covering a bunch of essential saxophone topics. This could really transform your playing, so jump on board by clicking the link in the description or use the URL below. Right, without further ado, let's learn the 6 riffs you need for Pick Up the Pieces, starting with phrase 1, played in slow motion. Phrase 2 is really the second half of the first phrase, but for logistical reasons I've split it in half. Remember, you're learning the main melody part here, as played on alto by Roger Ball on the original. If you want to learn the harmonies, as played on tenor by Molly Duncan on the original, go and get the free PDF sheet music using the link in the description. That has all the harmonies for the whole song. Here's phrase 2. Phrase 3 is an alternative riff to phrase 1 when the chords change in measure 9. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that the first 4 notes are the same as phrase 1, except the first note is up the octave. Phrase 4 is the first bit of the bridge. You'll play this short phrase several times in the song, especially at the end. Phrase 5 is exactly the same as phrase 4, apart from the last note, and it always leads into phrase 6. The final phrase to learn is phrase 6, which is exactly the same as phrase 4, except there's an extra long note at the end. There's actually 2 versions of phrase 6. I'm going to call them phrase 6A, which has the held note for 1 measure, and phrase 6B, which has the held note for 4 measures. Just another example of why Pick Up the Pieces is a complete clusterfoof to play live. Now remember, you hit the last held notes in phrase 6 on the last beat of the bar before, so take care when you're counting. You hit the note, then start counting on beat 1 of the next bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we can put it all together. As usual, make sure you observe the right long notes and short notes when you play this if you want to sound convincing, and really try and dig into the rhythm. If you want to sound more pro and less like a beginner, check out my recent YouTube live session linked on the card above now. So the magic and curse of Pick Up the Pieces is the way the stabby melody chunks are played by the saxes, followed by space for the rhythm section to groove. It's magic because the rhythm section is so amazing, but it's a curse as nobody ever knows how long each groove section lasts. The easiest way of getting to grips with the whole song is to break it into large chunks first. We can call these large chunks the verse, the bridge and the solo. So after that famous 4-bar intro of strumming a guitar, we have verse 1, which is repeated. On the structure diagram, you can also see which phrases make up each section. Verse 1 is followed by bridge 1. Verse 2 is next, then bridge 2. The solo section is 16 bars long on the original, although it's opened up when played live. After the solo, we get verse 2 again, followed by bridge 3. Bridge 3 is an extended bridge. The song closes with an 8-bar outro groove section and one last riff. Just watch out for how long each mini groove section is. Sometimes it's 2 bars, sometimes it's 4 bars. The easiest thing is to get the PDF from the description and just follow it along. Even if you don't read music, you can memorize the 6 phrases and just follow the phrase numbers through. Right, I'm actually going to play the entire song now from beginning to end. If you're wondering how to play those high notes in the solo, check out my epic video on how to play Altissimo, linked on the card above now. I'm afraid there's no isolated backing track for you to play along with for this one. The musicians on here didn't sign up to make free backing tracks for everyone, I'm afraid. That said, you can easily get a backing track for a few bucks online. Mind you, the original has unison saxes playing together, so just treat this performance as the backing track that you can play along with. I'm so lucky to have such a talented group of musicians to play with this week. I've been like a kid in a sweet shop. On drums, we've got Nick Van Gelder. Nick was Jamiroquai's drummer, and alongside all his own awesome productions, he's featured on the million-selling album Emergency on Planet Earth. Next, an incredible musician, a great DJ, and a wonderful touring bandmate. Bassist Francis Hylton forms the bedrock of Incognito's legendary groove. And last, but definitely not least, Shawn Lee is the Da Vinci of sound, a multi-instrumentalist and a true Renaissance man. Shawn could have played every instrument on this track, but I thought we should let everyone else have a go. So he's just covering the 2 guitar parts here. You'll find links for all these guys in the description for this video. Many thanks, you guys. I owe you one. Right, let's get on with a very special performance of Pick Up the Pieces by the Average White Band. You'll hear the famous 4-measure jangly guitar intro, and then the saxes come in. Enjoy. Man, was that a treat or what? Who knew lockdown could be so much fun? Special thanks again to Nick Van Gelder on drums, Francis Hylton on bass and Shawn Lee on guitar. You can check them all out using the links in the description. Don't forget to pick up your special free PDF from the link in the description. And if you want to learn some more in-depth sax stuff, go to www.getyoursaxtogether.com/masterclass to get your free 1 hour lesson with me. As always, thanks for watching and supporting me. And if you're loving this channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content, and check out my Insta and Facebook pages. Next Sunday, you'll be learning one of the most important things of all on sax, playing in tune. Until then, thanks for watching and have fun practicing. See ya. I'm so lucky to have such